Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not gonna be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know. You think you silent treating me, and you think I'm gonna be nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence, and ain't nobody threatening you. And I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no motherfucking games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad. I could have a spat. We could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. So either you go in the direction of like moving on and shit like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat. I'm just being clear. I can't do this shit with you every time you get upset.
A couple of parties I seen that I knew that they were spiking drinks. My girl was at the New Year's party, right? I'm at the front door. I got to make sure everybody got their passes and everything like that. So then my girl and her girlfriend is in the party. So they get bottles of champagne. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for them. After everybody comes, they close the door. So I'm going knocking in doors, looking at people. I'm looking for my kid's mother now. What the fuck, what's going on? And I'm getting hysterical. So I decided to go to the car, and I looked in the car. She was in the car asleep. She said, Gene, we started drinking the champagne, and I didn't feel good. And me and Debbie came here and went to sleep.
To keep it frank, he was doing the things to other people that was done to him. He learned from Russell Simmons, Clyde Davis. When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. These are behaviors and things that with drugs, pills, drinking, it can make this man into a monster, and that's what it did. It made him into a monster, bro.
He made her call him Pop Pop and described how his eyes would go
You know
back.
why Pop Pop?
Why?
Because that's her grandfather's nickname.
No.
He asked, what's your grandfather's nickname?
What?
She says, Pop Pop. She says, moving forward, I want you to call me Pop
Bala.
Pop. Hemen.
What?
Pop Pop is the name he wanted to be called because that's what she called her grandfather. Not even her daddy, her grandfather.
Wow.
Go back to that Pop Pop, the fact you just added up right there, Rob. So Diddy was asked what Cassie called her grandfather, then made her call him by that name. Testimony, Pop Pop.
Did you want Sean to it on you? Cassie, I didn't want anyone to it on me. Prosecutor, how often did it happen? Answer, often enough.
In opening statements, what struck me was how the defense attorney openly admitted that her client committed domestic violence, but then tried to argue, well, that's not sex trafficking for which he's charged.
He's diabolical when it comes to shit like that, bro. He owned the music business in New York City and California. He had friends everywhere, bro. He had friends in high places.
You think that Diddy's the only person doing stuff like this? So
Absolutely
maybe he's
not.
the poster child at this point, but you know, this trial is going to pull back the curtain on what the hell is going on behind
There's
the
a challenge,
scenes.
though. are you following any of the stories with this
Yeah,
or not
I'm seeing
really?
what's going on here. Why?
Okay, so there's a few things that's a little bit you got to be careful with on what's going on here because there's one thing that was shown that they have to answer. By the way, go back to that Pop Pop, the fact you just added up right there, Rob. So Diddy was asked what Cassie called her grandfather, then made her call him by that name. Testimony, Pop Pop. So
Diddy planted bad seeds with telling people don't do business with him. So he's right about that, brother. And after he got married from him, Kirk never worked no place else.
I talked to Greg Kading when I interviewed him 8 years ago, the detective from L.A. He did both of them, accidentally ended up having to do one, ended up finding out more about the other one as well. Where do you stand with what happened with Tupac? Think Puff was a part of it?
I never heard Puff say anything about doing anything, Tupac. Or Suge.
Right.
I've heard people around Puff say things about that. But I never heard Puff himself personally say anything like that. I said before that Eric Von Zip came to the block and he showed me and my friend a check for $1 million. You understand? And he said he got it from Blackground Records.
The internet exploded when a shocking voicemail surfaced, allegedly from Sean Diddy Combs, addressed to a woman known only as Jane Doe. The audio, grainy but unmistakably Diddy's voice, is a desperate plea, a veiled threat, and a disturbing glimpse into the secretive world of Diddy's infamous freak-offs. For years, these events were just dark whispers. Now they're undeniable. Jane Doe was once deep inside the machine. One of many victims turned witnesses. She says she was lured into Diddy's web under the guise of luxury and career opportunity, but this voicemail changed everything. It's not just evidence, it's a confession. And what's worse, Diddy knew the walls were closing in. Jane Doe wasn't just another guest at the parties, she was part of the inner machinery. Recruited early, promised fame, and showered with luxury, she quickly became entangled in Diddy's dangerous web. But after years of silence and trauma, she made a choice that few others had the strength to make. She walked away. Her absence didn't go unnoticed. Insiders say that once she stopped showing up to events and cut off communication with the organizers, Diddy lost it. He demanded updates, sent intermediaries, and even tried contacting her through mutual acquaintances. Jane Doe wanted out, but Diddy wasn't letting go. He couldn't believe she said no. One source close to the situation explained. It wasn't about her personal war, it was about the control. He needs to feel in charge. When someone breaks free, it shakes everything. Diddy's power doesn't just come from money, it comes from fear. Over the years, many have said that leaving his circle comes with consequences. Jane Doe knew that, and still she refused to return. According to those close to her, Diddy's response to her distancing wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. She began noticing strange cars parked outside her home. Friends who had once been supportive suddenly cut her off. Subtle intimidation, strange coincidences, enough to make her question if she was truly safe. But she didn't back down. In a confidential statement to authorities, Jane Doe said, "He doesn't want me back. He wants to make an example out of me, so the others don't run." As Jane Doe's story gained traction in legal circles, Diddy's once tight network began to fracture. People who had long stayed silent started talking. A former assistant anonymously revealed that Diddy had ranted for hours about Jane Doe's defection. Federal investigators now had a pattern. Diddy couldn't handle rejection, and more importantly, he couldn't tolerate disobedience. Jane Doe's refusal to participate was no longer just a personal problem, it was a criminal red flag. They re-examined other testimonies. Patterns emerged. Victims who tried to leave were often met with gaslighting, bribery, or veiled threats. "He always made it seem like we were crazy or ungrateful," one woman said, "and when we left, he'd try to ruin us." Jane Doe's case gave prosecutors something new, a live, unfolding example of how Diddy handled dissent. It was now not just a historical investigation, it was active, unfolding in real time. As more details about Diddy's reaction leaked to the press, the tide began to turn. Once untouchable in the eyes of the industry, Diddy now looked desperate and unhinged. Public support began to erode as people started to believe Jane Doe's story. And with each new revelation, more victims found the courage to come forward. Social media exploded with hashtags demanding accountability. Justice for Jane, cancel Diddy, and expose the freak-offs all trended for days. Celebrities who had once been tight-lipped began unfollowing Diddy. A few even deleted old pictures and collaborations with him. The industry, once his playground, started backing away. Jane Doe had never gone public with her face or her name, but she had become a symbol of resistance. Her quiet refusal had caused more chaos than any lawsuit or documentary ever had. And Diddy, he was crumbling. Behind the scenes, prosecutors now had a new momentum. Jane Doe's statements helped them connect threads from older cases. One prosecutor said, "Her silence broke the cycle. Her decision to leave made it possible for others to speak." Court filings began referencing Jane Doe's exit. Lawyers argued it showed a clear pattern of coercion, retaliation, and psychological manipulation. It wasn't just about the parties anymore, it was about how Diddy built an empire on fear and how he punished those who broke free. Even Diddy's past settlements came under scrutiny. Investigators started reviewing NDAs and hush money arrangements with fresh eyes. Jane Doe had sparked a wildfire in a forest of secrets. Sources inside Diddy's inner circle say he became erratic after Jane Doe's rejection. He allegedly held closed-door meetings, interrogated staff, and demanded loyalty oaths. One bodyguard described his mood as volcanic. He couldn't understand why she didn't want back in. He thought money would fix everything. When it didn't, he got scary. Staffers said he started blaming people around him. He kept saying someone was feeding her courage. He thought someone inside was encouraging her to stay gone. That paranoia, it took over. Soon after, media outlets began receiving anonymous packages, photos, screenshots, documents, all pointing to the unfiltered reality of Diddy's freak-off parties. Most of it had Jane Doe's name redacted, but some included schedules, messages, and internal notes that showed just how organized the events were. There were rules, rankings, and designated roles. The whole thing was run like a secret corporation, and Jane Doe had been on the inside long enough to know how to expose it all. One journalist said, "This wasn't a wild celebrity party scene. This was trafficking, coercion, and exploitation, dressed up with champagne and chandeliers." Diddy wasn't done trying. According to court documents, his team allegedly reached out to Jane Doe one final time, offering a large tax-free settlement if she would sign a revised NDA and stop cooperating with authorities. She declined. The next day, her lawyer filed a restraining order request citing ongoing intimidation attempts. It was the last straw. That filing is what led to a court-approved raid of one of Diddy's properties, where even more damning evidence was recovered, including contact logs tied directly to Jane Doe and coded event records referring to freak-off party attendees. Now facing multiple lawsuits, federal charges, and an exodus of support, Diddy's world is falling apart. Jane Doe may have just been one person, but her refusal to stay silent became a lightning bolt. In the final scenes of this courtroom drama, Jane Doe's name may remain hidden, but her impact is undeniable. Diddy lost the one thing he'd built his empire on: control. And without it, everything else is starting to burn. As prosecutors prepare for the next phase of the case, Jane Doe's story continues to ripple through Hollywood, turning whispers into war cries. This time, Diddy won't be able to buy his silence. Not from Jane Doe, not anymore.